Quick disclaimer, this video was scripted, recorded, and partially edited before the Mario Kart World trailer, so keep that in mind while watching the video. This is what I get for being so lazy, I guess. At least I got my goat. With the new Mario Kart game finally on the way, I've been thinking about the older games a lot lately, and that's led me to playing a bunch of the ones that I haven't played in a while. As I play through them, I naturally try to decide which of the tracks was my favorite, and since I already figured that out, I might as well talk about them. I will say, I am excluding retro tracks completely here. You may think it's because I want to show off what new tracks each Mario Kart brings, but the real reason is because every game's best would be Mario Circuit 3. I'm Drewski Rose, and these are my favorite tracks in every Mario Kart game. Starting with, oh no,
Flint and Steel!
I don't want to write a segment about this game, but SNES Rainbow Road has been in 6 games for a reason. Mario Kart 64. While this is one of the Mario Karts I'm least experienced with, I am very experienced with this game's track selection, since every single track in the game has been remade in future Mario Karts. All except for one, Wario Stadium. Who knows, maybe this can turn out to be a favorite. Let's check it out. This is booty. I almost want to give this spot to Moo Moo Farm. I've always had a soft spot for these farm tracks, and I'm also quite a fan of Royal Raceway, even ignoring the fact that I understand the reference. But I'll be honest and say the number one choice wasn't difficult. Despite how many of these types of tracks followed, N64 Bowser's Castle remains one of the most standout in the series, mainly due to the atmosphere. Stuff like the super eerie music, the Bowser statues breathing fire, the skybox, and Marty the Thwomp being locked up for some reason adds a lot to this track feeling nothing like its successors. Even the garden outside the castle helps it feel even more unsettling, which is weird for something as peaceful as a garden, but it just is. Its vibe is so memorable, and it's also a blast to play with the standout top of the castle section and the abundance of thwomps used in so many different ways, including, again, being locked up. Easily one of the best Bowser's castles ever. I finally got to play through Super Circuit this year, and I actually really enjoyed it. Can't say I'm great at the game, but it's a nice charming little game with nice charming little tracks. The Rainbow Road I think is super sick with how its shortcuts work, but I can't say it's my favorite because, again, I'm bad. Did you seriously forget that already? It's been like 10 seconds, lock in. So that just leaves the simpler tracks left, and to be honest, I was expecting my DS bias to take over and pick Sky Garden as my favorite. But after playing through them all, I might actually like Ribbon Road slightly more. What sets Super Circuit apart from Super Mario Kart are the more unique and inspired level themes compared to Donut Plains and Donut Plains again. And a level filled with presents all around and super bright colors is just super pleasing to me. The remake in Mario Kart 8 is better. I mean, it's got Mini Toad, how can it not? But the OG is still a fun gameplay experience with its dash panels and big jumps. Speaking of, even though I'm not gamer enough for the Road of Rainbow shortcuts, the Road of Ribbons I can handle just fine. If you wanted an explanation on how it works as standout 2D Mario Kart track design, you're not in the right place. I'm just here to say that this track makes me do a smile, and that's all the reason I need to put it here. If only Mini Toad existed back then. Double Dash is a game I had mixed feelings about for a while, but after replaying it last year, it's grown on me a lot. So it's funny that in a sea of tracks I've always enjoyed, like Daisy Cruiser and DK Mountain, my favorite track from this game also had to grow on me over time. I'd hate for my list to feel repetitive this early on, but I'm sorry, Bowser's Castle takes it again. You don't understand, this guy is just too cool. While 64's version of the track focused on its atmosphere and utilization of the thwomps, please let my goat free, Double Dashes has a bigger focus on other hazards. There's still plenty of thwomps, but there's also fire bars, lava balls, and of course the giant mechanical Bowser. The reason that this track had to grow on me is that since I played Wii first, I always saw this as a discount version of that game's Bowser's Castle. But I don't think that's a fair reason to not care for Double Dashes. In fact, it's a good thing that this has become the template for future Bowser castles to follow. And to be honest, I probably like the Bowser statue in Double Dash the best, mainly with it making this extremely rewarding shortcut also extremely risky to go for. Again, I wasn't expecting this to be my favorite, but the more I think about it, the less anything else from this game even compares. Well, aside from Pi Plaza, but we ain't talking about battle maps today. Mario Kart DS is next, and this, along with Wii, were my first experiences with the series, so a lot of these tracks will forever be classics to me. Airship Fortress, Waluigi Pinball, Tick-Tock Clock, and Delfino Square are well-established fan favorites, but there's also some tracks I feel like don't get enough love, like DK Pass and this game's Mario Circuit, which I stand by being one of the best Mario Circuits in the series, and 8 Deluxe made it even better, but everyone wants to hate on it because, oh, it stole Airship Fortress's spot on the Booster Course pack. Pass, which is the most NPC Nintendo opinion since Pokemon hasn't been good since Gen 5. You'd think people would get over it, but I've seen people still hold a grudge against this track in the great 2025. I am tired of hearing about this track. With that said, Airship Fortress might be my favorite track in the franchise. Everything about this track works for me. The hazards are all great, from the burners to the bullet bills at the start to all the rocky wrenches popping out, which also led to one of the most memorable missions in the game. The atmospheric music is great, the spiral down the fortress is great, the reference is on point and potentially led to airships being used more in future games. That's just a theory though. I will say, the atmosphere is at its best in DS with the purple skies and such, especially compared to Tour. But at least Tour has the goated Shy Guy bar, so this version is peak too. I would be pretty happy considering this my favorite Mario Kart track of all time, though I do hesitate to make that claim for certain since there are still several competitors for that title. And all of them are from this game. While I wouldn't say Mario Kart Wii is the best Mario Kart game, okay, yes I will, that was a blatant lie. One of the many reasons it's my favorite in the series is its top tier track selection. There's a reason why it got 18 million tracks in the Booster Course Pass, and why people are still asking for more. Picking the best track in this game was extremely hard, and resisting the urge to pick Moo Moo Meadows was even harder. I'd be pretty happy giving tracks like Coconut Mall, Mario Summit, and Maple Treeway this spot. Those are also contenders for my favorite track in the series. But in the end, Mario Kart Wii is an evil game, and its Rainbow Road is the most evil track in the game. In the franchise, really. From the super tight turns to the guardrails with stupid knockback, this is by far the hardest variant of this consistently hard track type. Playing this track well makes me feel so goated at existence. It's obviously no slouch in the aesthetics department either. There's star bits all around, a beautiful rainbow cannon, and when you fall off, you turn into a meteor. That's a fun way to feel bad at the game. Not to mention the heavenly music. Easily the best Rainbow Road theme in the series. Heck, I'd say this is easily the best Rainbow Road track in the series. It's always been this way for me, and I don't think anything will ever top it. Okay, you didn't top Wii's, but not from lack of trying. I apologize for immediately showing my cards, but despite Mario Kart 7 having plenty of bangers like Music Park and the Woohoo tracks, I don't think anyone will be surprised at this. It's no wonder why these are considered the top 2 Rainbow Roads by everyone, since they're both masters at their respective approaches. Wii's being the best nail-biting final test, and 7's being the best off-striking victory lap. On the topic of laps, Mario Kart 7 introduced tracks that have one big lap with 3 sections, instead of one lap you race through 3 times, and having the game's Rainbow Road be one of the few tracks to be like that was genius. This allows the track to show off way more set pieces than usual, like driving atop Saturn's rings, driving on the moon with bouncing chain chomps, and dodging asteroids while gliding. I do wish it was a tad more difficult, but that's not what it's trying to be. It's trying to be more like an epic space adventure than a regular Mario Kart track, and it succeeds with flying colors. Like those ones, those colors. We've at last arrived at our final game. I like Tour, but I don't feel like talking about it. Shut up. Mario Kart 8. We've all had plenty of time to get accustomed to these tracks throughout the decade of this game's life, so this decision wasn't too hard actually. As fantastic as Sunshine Airport, Dolphin Shoals, Electrodrome, and Mount Wario are, I really just named a whole cup, didn't I? My favorite just so happens to be in the DLC, the base game's second wave of DLC to be exact. And while there's a clear standout fan favorite right there, I'm going with something more wild. Okay guys, it wasn't that funny. I have no clue what the consensus on Wild Woods is. I think people like it. I know I definitely like it. I really like it. The addition of anti-gravity has provided this game with a bunch of standout set pieces, and driving up against a giant tree is easily one of the best examples. This Shy Guy village up in the trees is also just adorable. I would love to live here. Ignoring my fear of heights, but hey, maybe it's worth it. And again, I know that clear standout fan favorite is right there, but this end section where you're going down the water into the lily pads with speed boost ramps is so satisfying with how fast you go as you start climbing the tree again. I've heard this described as a lesser Maple Treeway by multiple people in the past. And by multiple people, I mean exclusively taught the laws, but I'd say this track is pretty on par with Treeway. It's just that good. And those are my favorite Mario Kart tracks in each game. It was fun looking back on all these games and determining which tracks I like the best. But what's the best of the best? Why don't I rank all 8 of these tracks against each other while I'm here? I don't want to keep y'all here for too much longer, so let's speed through this real fast. Worst to best. SNES Rainbow Road. It's not your fault, sweetie. I just think Super Mario Kart insists upon itself. Ribbon Road. I like Super Circuit, but it's weird for me to compare 2D tracks to 3D ones. N64 Bowser Castle. It's fantastic, but not even the best Bowser Castle on the list. GCN Bowser Castle. Oh hey, it's the best Bowser Castle on the list. 3DS Rainbow Road. A masterful spectacle, but I'd probably like it more if it was more rage-inducing. Wild Woods. I know putting it above 3DS Rainbow Road seems wild. Airship Fortress. It's really a coin flip between this and number 1, but Airship Fortress unfortunately hit heads this time. Wii Rainbow Road. The Wii track takes it because I grew up with Wii, therefore Wii's the best Mario Kart with the best tracks, and that's not up for debate. Thank you all for watching. Let me know what your favorite track from each game is in the comments, and hit like and subscribe while you're down there. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye!